Ever wondered who the first line of defense was in the mighty Roman army? Picture a time around 211 BC, during the intense siege of Capua. The Roman army needed manpower, and they needed it fast. So they turned to their citizens, specifically those who couldn't afford to join the hastati, the heavy infantry. These individuals were given a unique role. They were trained extensively to ride on horseback alongside the equites, the Roman cavalry. But their main role, to dismount at a given signal and launch their javelins at the enemy. It was a dangerous job, but one that was crucial to the success of the Roman army. And so, from the turmoil of the siege of Capua and the need for more soldiers, the Velites were born. This force of irregular light infantry, often overlooked in the grand scheme of Roman history, became an integral part of the Roman legions. Thus, the Velites, a force of irregular light infantry, became an integral part of the Roman legions. So, what was the role of these Velites, and how were they equipped? These warriors were far more than just foot soldiers. As light infantry and skirmishers, the Velites were the agile, swift, and cunning members of the Roman army. Their primary weapon was the javelin, a piece of equipment that might seem simple but was both versatile and deadly in their hands. Each javelin had a wooden shaft about 30 inches long, not much thicker than a finger, tipped with a 10-inch metal point. This was not a weapon for hacking and slashing, but for precise, deadly throws at the enemy. But the Velites were not just about ranged attacks. They also carried short thrusting swords, known as gladii, for those times when the battle became a melee and they needed to defend themselves in close quarters. Armor was a luxury these young and poor soldiers could seldom afford. Their protection instead came from small wooden shields known as parma. These weren't the towering, full-body defenses of the heavy infantry, but they were lightweight, maneuverable, and they got the job done. Perhaps one of the most distinctive aspects of the Velites was their headdresses made from wolf skins. These were not just for show, nor mere symbols of bravado. They served a practical purpose, to allow their brave deeds to be recognized amidst the chaos of battle. Tactically, the Velites were often placed at the front of the legion. This was not only to take advantage of their skills as skirmishers, but also to give these warriors the opportunity to secure glory for themselves in single combat. It was a dangerous position, but one that offered the chance for honor and recognition. Despite their humble origins and minimal equipment, the Velites held a crucial role in the Roman military strategy. They were the nimble spearhead of the Roman force, a first line of attack and a vital part of the Roman war machine. They may not have been the most heavily armed or armored, but they were brave, resourceful, and played a pivotal role in the victories of the Roman legions. But how did these lightly armed troops manage to face off against enemies on the battlefield? Let's delve into the world of the Velites, the nimble warriors of the Roman legion, who transformed their perceived weaknesses into strategic strengths. The Velites were typically deployed at the forefront of the battlefield. This wasn't just a random placement. It was a calculated move, capitalizing on their high mobility and unique armament. They served as a screening force, tasked with driving off enemy skirmishers and disrupting enemy formations with their javelins. This initial offensive maneuver was crucial in setting the stage for the ensuing battle. Equipped with javelins designed for maximum disruption, Velites would launch an initial assault on their adversaries. These javelins, with their 30-inch wooden shafts and 10-inch metal points, were flung at the enemy lines with a singular goal: to create chaos and confusion. Once they had successfully disrupted the enemy, the Velites would retire behind the lines, making way for the heavier-armed hastati to deliver the subsequent attack. But it wasn't just about creating disruptions. The Velites had a special role when it came to certain adversaries. Remember the Battle of Zama in 202 BC? That was when the Velites truly showcased their worth. War elephants and chariots, typically a nightmare for heavy infantry, were met with the agile and adaptable Velites. Using their mobility and ranged weaponry, these light infantrymen were much more effective against such foes, highlighting the importance of strategy over strength. Their actions in the Battle of Zama serve as a testament to their tactical prowess. After the initial javelin throw, the Velites would take cover behind the maniples. At the right moment, they would launch a sortie, quickly emerging from behind the troops to attack the elephants before retreating again. This hit-and-run tactic, coupled with the psychological impact of their attacks, often turned the tide of battle in favor of the Romans. In the face of formidable foes, the Velites demonstrated that strategy and agility could triumph over brute force. So, what became of these brave Velites? With the military reforms of Gaius Marius in 107 BC, the Velites, as a distinct class, were phased out from the Roman legion. Instead, all Roman citizens, regardless of their social status, were now eligible to become soldiers. The equipment and tactics of the Velites didn't disappear, though. They were absorbed into the new Roman legions, becoming part of the standard training for all Roman soldiers. The Velites' light infantry tactics and their use of javelins were incorporated into the training of the new Roman legions. Their skirmishing tactics, their ability to disrupt enemy formations with their javelins, and their role in facing down war elephants and chariots became a standard part of Roman military strategy. These light infantry tactics and the use of javelins have influenced many military formations throughout history, from the Middle Ages to the modern era. The Velites may have vanished from the battlefield, but their legacy in the annals of Roman military history remains indelible.